So we're just going to get right into it with Brother Taxman Preacher. So that song is one of the first of yours that I heard. And I remember thinking, yes, girl. Now, can you tell us about the inspiration for that song?
Yeah, well, gosh, um, I was living at home, I think, or I had kind of been traveling and moved back home, and I'm one of five kids, so I grew up in a big family. I've got two brothers and I have two sisters, and it's yeah, that was just definitely like I don't know. I was thinking about my brother, and he's he's kind of the golden boy, you know, and.
Oh, really? I think I might know something about that. I love my brother. Um, but yeah, I think, and I think maybe that's why I connected with that song so much because of the same reason. My brother is younger than me by 6 years, but um, you know, to the maybe casual observer, it looks like, and even to me as the insider, you know, um, things went pretty easily for him. So
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for sibling rivalry, right? And but I mean, I'm not that was true with my sisters and my brother. Um,
I
but
gotcha.
yeah, I'm
What's
glad you like that tune.
what's the age difference between you and your siblings? Because I'm 11 years older than my brother and sister who are twins, and that's a whole different ball of wax.
Whoa, yeah, you're just out on your lonesome.
You're telling me. Here's what how I explain it to people. For the first 11 years of my life, I was the only grandchild on my mom's side.
Oh my gosh,
And
yeah.
because of my uncle's marriage and my brother and sister, within 5 years, I was one of eight.
Oh
Oh,
my
geez.
And
gosh.
what that meant is at some point in time, it was like, didn't we have like a teenager who lived here? Who's the bigger kid around?
Like
Like
a guy, yeah.
nobody knew who I
Neighbor's
was
kid.
anymore. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Neighbor's
But
kid.
what's
All right.
what's the age separation on the
Well,
five in your family?
we're spaced. We are like there's five of us in a span of 8 years, so it's pretty close.
That's not bad.
Oh,
That's not bad.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty close. In fact, my younger sister and I, we're like really close and she's actually on that recording. Sarah is her name. And she tours with my band from time to time. And Sarah and I were 3 years apart in school, but we're really only like 2.5 years apart. It's just that she was born in September, I was born in March, so like in school years it was 3 years, but then recently we were like, we're closer than we thought. Just two and a, it's kind of feels more like 2 years. So it's kind of this funny like adult onset breakthrough about our age difference.
and
Once,
that's funny
yeah,
how that happens like in adult years. My
yeah.
sister is just about 4 years younger than me. And, we used to like fist fight when we were younger.
Oh
And,
man, yeah.
now where it's totally different dynamic. But how special that must be though to have your sister
Yeah.
join you and record with you. My sister
Yeah.
she's always had a beautiful voice and I tried to encourage her to do something with it. And like I would try to sing with her and it just
Yeah.
didn't go very well. So the couple times that we did make it work, it was very, heartwarming. So I can't imagine being in your position and getting to tour with your sister, record with her. That's got to be so special.
It is. It is really special. And my other like siblings love coming out to my shows and it always makes me so happy when they're there because it really feels so constructive. Like this is part of why I do this is to like, I mean it's the perfect audience for my music is like people who know the like deep references and like know some, more of my backstory than like your average listener.
Sure.
But yeah, it's great to share that with my sister and it's fun because my parents are like they feel like my dad always loves to tell people like, oh yeah, like when they were kids, they'd be like singing together instead of doing their homework, and I'd hear
Oh,
them upstairs in the house, but I wouldn't go tell them to shut up and do their homework because it sounded so sweet.
I
He
love
loves to like,
that.
I know he loves, and so it really is sweet though, because like as messy as life unfolds and everything, all this chaos, they're like, well. There's this beautiful thing that we created.
Aw,
They love to take credit for.
Very
that's really
cool.
sweet.
That's
Very
nice.
Yeah.
cool. So the song Brother Taxman Preacher, that one's off your first album. Now you're going to
Yeah.
have to help us with the name. I know I looked it up a long time ago, how to pronounce it
Yeah.
correctly, but
Yeah.
can you say
Poho
it for
Reel.
us?
Yeah. Poho Reel.
Poho
Oh,
Reel.
real. Okay, I
Poho
wasn't too
Reel.
far off. See, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, so my initial reaction was, "Oh ho row."
Poho Reel. Like a crocodile.
Oh, there you
Exactly.
go.
I like it. Okay, wasn't too far off.
So Poho Reel, did I say that
Yeah.
right? All right. So
Yeah.
when it was released, it was met with high praise, was that a pandemic album?
That album, it was so funny the timing of it because we tracked it in November of 2019 and
Okay.
it was all mixed and mastered in March of 2020 and we're like we're going to march forth with this record and shop it to labels and like it was all ready to go and then obviously pandemic. So it did come together like a lot of the album prep happened during the pandemic.
Okay.
um Gosh, it's so funny to like to reflect on that year. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. You can take my word for like, but I really, honestly, it's a blur, and I don't really remember like the release of that album that much.
Okay.
But I didn't put it out until the next fall of 2021.
Yeah.
And then the next spring, I recorded the one I just put out last fall. So it was a pretty quick turnaround there. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I liked that the first record wasn't really directly artistically tainted by the pandemic, like the rollout and everything was totally during COVID, but like the songs themselves were like my pre-COVID time, and then
Okay.
the next one was written all like mostly written in the year 2020 when I was
Yeah.
at home.
Okay.
Very nice. So
Yeah.
the success of that first album, though, I'm curious if that was a surprise to you, how successful
yeah.
it was. I mean,
It
it
was.
launched you into this mad, pattern of touring and supporting a lot of great artists like Hayes Carll and Drive By Truckers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know that's where Drive By Truckers' show is where Francesca first saw you. So
Oh,
tell us,
yeah.
was it a surprise? And then tell us kind of how that was. It just this whirlwind thing that happened after that?
It was totally a surprise, and it was just this funny alchemy of like having a strong radio promoter. I love Angela. She's so wonderful, and she really helped spread the word. And I feel like I had really solid like um I was just riding on the back of other wonderful albums that had come through the Fluff and Gravy, through that line. And yeah, it was amazing. The thing I will say is like, yes, it was a crazy whirlwind, and like getting a booking agent just, changed touring for me, of course. That was huge. But I was so ready to do it, because I was working like I was waitressing, I was working on farms, I was doing like all kinds of other work. But I feel like looking back, I can feel that I was really prepared to like do the thing I'd been working to do. I had been building up to that for so long. So I didn't expect it to happen, but I was kind of ready when it did.
Nice.
So,
What was that the feeling then, or did you get the feeling at that time then, like, okay, this is real, right? Like, I think I made it.
yeah, I mean, just being able to live off of music as your main hustle and not have to, having more work than you can say yes to is like, that was crazy to go from like, just emailing all day long trying to get gigs, just any old backwater place,
Aw.
hey, I'm a songwriter, it's just like putting yourself out there in that way is so draining. And I learned a lot booking my own stuff, but it's like that's the number one time drain and like energy
Mm.
drain is like getting rejected, 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 rejected. So I still face rejection, but it's on a bigger scale, and it's not like a daily like you're not worthy for this job, because that's what's tough. Like now it's a different kind of like you're not the right fit. But when you're just starting out and you get rejected from playing a show, they're
Yeah.
saying like you don't belong in this job, and that can be really devastating. And I remember that being really like hard for me. And I was kind of a hothead, and like I was really, I was immature when I was starting out, and I just it's like you have to have this delicate balance of believing in yourself, but not being like an absolute, well,
You
I
can
don't,
swear. It's okay.
no, I don't. Well, there's swearing, and then there's how I would describe myself in those days.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's just say I was really green. I was totally green, and I now appreciate so much more. Like when I meet younger artists that are starting out, I have a lot of grace with them because I see myself in them, and I'm like, it's really humbling,
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful. But yeah, those tours of 2022, yeah, the Hayes Carll run, like that was one of our favorite tours as band. It was just like, well, it was fun because it was a full band tour,
Mhm.
and I don't know, I don't really know how we pulled that off, but I'm so glad we did because it was like such a fun memory to share with like the whole five-piece band at the time. And Hayes and his band just couldn't have been nicer to us. And at one point, one of them actually traveled around. They like came in our van. They
Oh,
downgraded from the bus onto our van.
Nice.
So
you
we
didn't get to
felt
switch with him?
no, I should have taken his place, but no, he he joined us. He downgraded. It was pretty funny.